Greetings everyone, welcome back to the channel. Into this video, we are going to see how we can clean up data into a professional file document with just a few tricks up. Now, let's first have this copy of this sheet, okay? So we have sheet 1 and we have sheet 1, 2, okay? However, let's rename it up to sheet 2, okay? Let's try naming this to sheet 2. Yes, it is the same information within sheet 1 and sheet 2. Now, what we can do with this, we happen to see that in our data given to us, we have some hash values, and this can be collected by increasing the size of the width of this cell here, okay, of that column. Furthermore, we can still go ahead and also do the same this side, okay, and do the same this side, and everything will be sorted out. Yes, however, if you happen not to do that way, we can come down, okay, and we highlight our entire data, and from there we can go ahead onto our home tab under the format, okay, and we look at the autofill of the row height, okay, and then still we look at the width as well, okay. We autofill the width columns, and we shall see that all our hash values have been removed, okay. Now, moving on, now when you look at our clients, okay, our client, they are here, okay, these are our clients from here, and this is a very long information. Let's try to adjust it by removing up these brackets, okay. It is too much. Let's try to adjust it. So we shall highlight that value column, okay, and from there we shall try to come and use the find and replace, okay. We look at find here, and what should be found? Whatever we don't need the bracket, okay. The bracket shall open the bracket, then they are still from there, and then we close up the bracket. So this information, whatever is within the bracket and the brackets off, should be replaced with nothing from here. We say replace, okay. There are over 31 replacements. We say okay, and then we close up this. You'll see that this information has been replaced, okay. Now we can still go ahead and adjust the column. Now, moving on. Our clients are in uppercase, okay. Let's try to adjust this into the lowercase. We want to retype this, but what we shall do, we shall come and insert a column from here, okay, and we shall say client, okay. We shall call it client as well. So, and from here, we are having the same information from here, so we shall say this is equals, okay. So this is equals lower. We are using the lowercase function. Okay, what should be in lower? This information should all be in lowercase. So we shall try to drag everything down, okay. Yes, now we happen to have this as the same as this, okay. So what we shall do, we shall now delete out this information, and when we delete this information, we happen to have such an error. So what we shall do, we shall ensure that we keep this information, we keep it as a value, okay. We shall copy it up, and then we come and paste it as a value. So when you paste it as a value, then we shall be able to delete out this column, and we remain with our client in small case. Yes, now moving on, we happen to have our contact, okay, and we have some spacing within our cells. We happen to see some clients with the uppercase, again the same time the lowercase, some are in uppercase, something of the kind. This is capital, this is small. So how can we collapse up this, okay? So what we shall do, we still go ahead and have another column here, okay, and we call it also contact. Yes, we call it contact, and from here we shall now use the trim and proper function to find it up, okay. So we shall use the trim first. We are trying to trim up, okay. What are you trimming? This cell here, okay, and you see that the spacing has been removed because you have some spacing from this cell, and we drag down to have all the cells, okay, in this column. Now when you still look at this information of ours, we still have some names with the uppercase and the lowercase, okay, and still have some in the uppercase, but we want something very uniform, okay, we want something uniform. So what we shall do, onto this very formula here, okay, the trim, we shall go ahead and add proper, okay, we shall say equals trim in bracket proper, okay, and okay, so from here we also add another closing bracket, okay, because we already have this opening bracket and another opening, so we need to have two closing bracket. So when I press enter, you'll see that this method has been arranged, everything is in sentence case. So we drag down and see that whoever had the upper cases, some upper, lower, everything has been sorted out. Yes, now moving on, we maintain it, okay, because we have the contact and the contact. Still we ensure that this is also pasted as values, okay, we keep it as a value, okay, we keep it as a value, then we go ahead and now delete this column, so that will remain with our formatted column of contact. Yes, now moving on, look at this column of department, okay, we happen to have the department with the regions in the same column, so we need to separate up this, okay, we have the regions like Texas, New York, Florida, we have California, and so many, okay. Now how can we separate up this? Okay, simply we shall have another column inserted here, okay, and for this column we are looking at the region, okay, these are the regions. So what we are going to do, we are going to have the region this side here removed from the department, okay. So what we shall do, we shall highlight up this, okay, we highlight up that column there, and from there what we shall do, we are now looking at the column and the text, okay, we are going to use the column and text feature here. So we shall come to our data here, okay, then we come to text to column together. So now with this, okay, we say next, and we look at the tab, yes, then we say other, okay, because this is the information that we would love to separate out, okay. So in separating it, so what we shall do, we shall try to add that divider there, okay. Now we happen to have our department and then the region, okay. So from here we can say next, okay. Now from here, looking at the column into which we are dealing with, we are trying to separate the destination, okay, it is in E3, that's where our department should be, okay. And when you look at this is another column now. So when I say finish, you will see that the region has been separated from the department, okay. We happen to have the regions separately this side. Now when we try to look at our column of payment, okay, when we try to look at our column of payment here, has some empty cell. In fact, not only it, but also into the revenue and maybe other spaces within our data given to us. So how can we try to replace some gaps, empty cells within our given data? So what we shall do, we shall highlight the entire document, okay. We'd love to find out the empty cells, so we come back to home, okay, then we come to find and replace. So this is something special, that's why I'll go to special from here, and we are looking at the empty cells. That's why I'm moving ahead to click at the blanks, okay. Then I say okay. You see that these empties have been highlighted, okay, all the empty cells have been highlighted. So I would love to have something within those cells, okay. We are having the NA within those cells, okay. yes, within those cells, and all empty cells within our document will be replaced with the NA. Now look at this profit margin. Okay, now when you look at the profit margin, it was the profit by the revenue to have this profit margin, but we happen to have the hash value within our final destination of the profit margin. Reasonably, we have a text within these figures. Okay, yes, we have the revenue here and then the profit, but because of this text, we happen to have this hash value. So how can we collect up this hash value? We are going to collect it by using the if-ella function. Okay, the if-ella function. So we shall come here into our formula bar, and then we say this is if-ella. Okay, we are using the if-ella. Okay, now since we are using the if-ella, we happen to we would have to replace this hash value. We are replacing this hash value with the NA. Okay, yes, we are collecting up that Ella, then we close up our bracket. Okay, we had to have a comma here, then we had to insert this NA. So this NA is going to, this value is going to replace that Ella. Okay, then I press enter. So I then come back here and I drag this to ensure that everything is computed correctly. You'll see that where we had the hash value has been replaced by the NA, this text here. Now with this, okay, we have tried to collect up and clean up some errors within our document. So what we shall do, we can still go ahead and have some editing. Okay, we can bold this information. Okay, we can give it a background color, and we can keep our text white. Okay, and still we can change the font of this to maybe timeline. Okay, and we can still give it 14, something of the kind. Okay, so you can try to go ahead to check it out. Okay, seeing that everything is very okay from this side. Okay, trying to adjust it. So this is how we can clean up our data into a professional and beautiful file. However, we can still go ahead and remove the grids. Okay, let's remove the grids within our information here. So what we shall do, simply come to view. So when you come to view, then you can remove the grids, and you see that our information looks indeed very, very professional. So with this, you can still go ahead and insert some visuals within it, and we shall look at that into the coming video. Thank you for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe onto our channel for more related videos. We meet again in the next video. Stay blessed.